Hi. I didn't actually anticipate on filming anything today, but I feel like it was worth it to give a little bit of an overview of why I'm here and what I'm doing before I sort of get into the whole process. So, I have PCOS. I've been diagnosed for 2 years now. I've been married for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in September, and we've always wanted a kid since we met. But after we got married, there was never any point where we've used protection at all. And in the last couple of years, we've actually started trying, like hardcore trying, I guess. But with PCOS, I don't have periods on my own, and I'm therefore not ovulating, so it's kind of a pointless situation. So in the last 2 years, we've kind of figured things out, tried working on things on our own, but really have had no success. So on June 1st, I went in for my annual exam with my gynecologist, and I decided that it was time for us to start thinking about really doing things, because I just turned 31 and I'm not getting any younger, and we need to start having kids. So we talked about that and we decided that Clomid was the way to go. I did my blood tests and things like that. They wanted to test my TSH levels and my A1C levels, so it was sort of a waiting game, and I found out within a day, probably less than a day, that things were okay and I was good to go. So we sat down and had the conversation about, how long my Provera cycle will be, because I do have to take Provera to induce a cycle most of the time. I have for about 2 years now had to take Provera, and that's the only time that I have a cycle. So we talked about, starting it on the following Monday, which would have been this past Monday, which was June 6th. That was our plan. I was going to wake up and I was going to start my Provera so that we could start the cycle from there. My husband works out of town a lot, and he's actually going to be working out of town at the end of the month. So we were kind of trying to figure out when we could start the Provera and get the Clomid going and all that kind of stuff in order for us to be in the same city at least when it came time to ovulate. So my plan was to wake up Monday and start Clomid. So I woke up Monday and I started my cycle on my own out of nowhere. So that was a very emotional experience. I think that anybody with PCOS would understand why we're the only people in the world who start our period and just cry with joy, because we're normal. We feel normal, at least. So I started. It was just like a sort of a beautiful timing thing, because the way it will work out, our window of opportunity will end right before he leaves, which will be perfect. So I am right now, it's Thursday, so I'm on cycle day 4, so tomorrow's cycle day 5, and I actually start my 50 milligrams of Clomid tomorrow. So I think I will probably take it at night, just because I've heard there's a lot of side effects, and I'm hormonal and kind of a crazy bitch anyway, so we're not going to do that during the daytime. I'd rather do it at night, where I can kind of sleep through most of the horror, I guess. And then that would put us at next Friday, when our opportunity starts presenting itself, I guess, hopefully. I do have to take ovulation tests and things, which don't work for me because my luteinizing hormone is always high because of PCOS. So I'm on my period and I've been taking ovulation tests, and apparently I'm still ovulating, so it's my nice screwed up body. So I will continue doing that. The plan was to start Provera on cycle day 5, which is tomorrow, is when I start taking Clomid. I take it for 5 days, and then about day 12 or something is when we have the possibility to start ovulating. So at that point, we need to have sex every other day. And then at day 21, if my ovulation test didn't work, or if I'm just not sure, I go in for a progesterone test. So they'll do a blood test for that. And then if by day 35 to 40 I haven't had a period yet, I'm either pregnant or I need to start Provera again. So, or my period could just show up on its own again, because it surprised me this time. And hopefully I'll continue with working out and eating healthier, and we'll get things going. So yeah, tomorrow starts Clomid. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm encouraged by how everything kind of worked out on its own naturally this time, and how the timing is so perfect. And I'm a big believer in things happening for a reason, so I'm in that sort of, the weird place where I'm trying not to get my hopes up, because over the last, 3.5, 4 years, the amount of negative pregnancy tests that I've taken is devastating, and I don't necessarily want to do that again. So I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm become a pro at that. But at the same time, it's one of those things like, really? How? I couldn't make that happen any better than if I tried. So that's where I'm at. My hope is to maybe do daily posts. I think it makes sense to do that during the Clomid part of things, because I know ladies with PCOS, when it comes to taking Clomid, you kind of wonder what to expect, and I've been searching and Googling for months to try and figure out, what do I expect? What are the side effects? How do we feel? How likely is it to work? So I think while I'm taking Clomid, I'll probably do daily things, but it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to, like, during the trying period. I don't really think that anybody needs to know exactly what happened with that. Not really sure my husband would appreciate that either. So that's the plan. I guess I'll just kind of keep people posted. I'll post through the Clomid cycle itself, and I guess results and things. I'm praying really hard that it's a positive pregnancy test, that I don't have to, be on camera wanting to just fall into a hole at that point. So anyway, being positive and excited and looking forward to good things. So I guess I'll post either tomorrow or Saturday after I take my first Clomid, and we'll go from there.